Good morning. Welcome to Up to the Minute. It is Tuesday, a bit stormy outside, but supposed to be cooler for some of the weekend. Should be a good weekend ahead of us. We've got a full show for you today. It's Tasty Tuesday here. We got two guests to talk about things, one at HCC, one about a very prestigious award. But first up, my co-host this morning, Benjamin Escobar, joining me. Benji, how are you? Did you have a good weekend?
I did. I had a great weekend, actually, which is, more work, but I love working, so.
Well, that's good. That's good because you got a lifetime ahead of you working. So
maybe 30 more years, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
That's the good news for you. So we've got some Tasty Tuesday guests. One of them you're going to be interviewing in just a few moments. But first, we want to thank everyone who's here watching us on Facebook Live and YouTube. We are here just about every morning. HCC is in session. Most mornings. Some mornings, like last week, we were busy with State of the College, and we'll have and graduations, but most of the time we're here live at 10 a.m. every weekday, Benji, but they can also catch us in social media anytime and on HCCTV.
Yeah, we're live on the Houston Community College District Facebook page, not HCC, but Houston Community College District, and we're also on YouTube. Then we have Twitter, LinkedIn, and our own TV channel, HCCTV, where you can catch the rebroadcast of this show at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Yeah, we're all over the place. Literally and figuratively. Anyway, Benji, you're going to be interviewing this next guest. Dr. Nazanin Hebel is joining us this morning. We're going to be talking about interdisciplinary competitioning happening at the new Culinary Arts building at the Central Campus. But Naz, you're over at the West Houston Institute right now, right?
Yes, I am. I'm actually in the One Button studio they have.
Oh, cool. All right. So big event happening, and it's later today, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we're going to talk all about this. It's kind of cool. It's bringing all of the college together in different disciplines, and we'll explain in just a moment, and Dr. Naz will be here. We'll be with you in about 10 minutes, okay?
Thank you.
All right, we've got a special guest joining us right now. We're going to be talking about the Oscars of the culinary world. We have someone here to talk about the nominees. Daniel Renfrow is a senior editor at Houstonia Magazine and one of our first Tasty Tuesday guests this Tuesday. Welcome to the show, Daniel. Good to see you.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, we want to talk about the James Beard Awards. In February, 10 Houston chefs and the restaurants were semi-finalists, but now only a handful have made it to be finalists for this national award. But a lot of folks may have heard of this award, but what makes this award so special? Tell us a bit about the James Beard Foundation and who he was.
Yeah, so James Beard, he's kind of an interesting character. He was considered one of America's first true foodies. And unfortunately, he did not have a beard, although according to Google, he did at one point have a mustache. So we'll take that. He was born in 1903 in Portland, Oregon. And when he first started out, he was working mainly as an actor. But then he started his own catering business in 1937, and then a small food shop later on as a way to supplement his income. And he ended up writing several successful cookbooks. He was also on the first American TV cooking show in 1946. And then in 1955, he established his own cooking school. And then after his death in 1985, some of his friends and coworkers got together to establish the foundation. And when it started out, it was mainly used to host events to highlight unrecognized chefs.
Right.
Then a year after his death, they started the award program, which they've used primarily to recognize the important works of chefs that are sort of under the radar. And as you said, it's one of the most prestigious awards you can receive in food in the U.S.
And we've had this award given to chefs here in Houston before. I know our own Hugo Ortega, who was, a proud student of HCC at one time, now extremely successful, was a recipient of the award and nominee several times. I found it interesting. You were telling me the history of James Beard. The only, I know about the award, but the only time I discovered more about him was through a chef named Jacques Pepin. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but famous French chef from years ago. He still does a series on YouTube and on Facebook with cooking tips, but he was showing how the special sandwich that he was at James Beard's house at a cocktail party years ago, and it was a sandwich, simple white bread, a sliced onion with garlic on it, and a little bit of salt, and then dill. fresh dill. That was it. That was the in his idea. It was simple, but it was, ingenious, to create that. So he gives you a taste of what this guy could do.
Well, and like a lot of chefs like that, like this more simple dishes sometimes like the better it is, because there are like several other James Beard Award winning chefs in Houston. There's also Justin Hugh of Oxheart and Theodore Rex. There's Chris Shepard, obviously. Alba Huerta won last year for her cocktail bar Julep. And there's also 2 James Beard Award winning chefs who are based in Houston now, but didn't win their awards in Houston. There's Paul Key, who won his award in Austin. He owns Gulfstrom now. And there's also Tom Cunanan, who won his award in DC for his Filipino restaurant Bad Saint, and he's based in Houston now too. So that's kind of cool.
And then we also have they have outstanding wine and other beverages that that are offered. They give awards for these as well.
Yes. Yeah, and also for food writing and media awards in general.
Tell us, you mentioned a few of the restaurants, and I know a few of the chefs, but a couple of the restaurants, one of them I keep hearing about, and I think that's up for award, Nancy's Hustle.
Yes.
What have you heard about that?
Yeah, so it opened in the Easton in 2017. It's kind of an eclectic modern bistro. But a cool thing about Nancy's Hustle is it like the other James Beard Awards nominees this year, they're just kind of located in nondescript strip centers. So like they're not like, you wouldn't consider them like a super fancy restaurant, but they just produce really good food. Nancy's Hustle was actually named one of Esquire's best new restaurants in 2018. And their chef James Vaughn, is a past James Beard Award nominee for Best Chef. But like you said, they have a really great wine program. It focuses on small, global, and natural wines. And this award is a way to kind of honor, this nomination is a way to honor their beverage director, who is his name is Justin Van, and also their bar manager, Zach Hornberger.
And they also have an award for Best Chef in Texas. Is that correct?
Yes.
And we have a finalist, I think, that's been on our show before, Chef G. Are you familiar with Chef G?
Yes. So I've been a fan of hers for years. I've written about her in the past. So she was raised in Thailand. And the interesting thing about her is her grandmother owned a restaurant in Thailand, and she grew up like cooking in that restaurant from a very young age. Like I think she started working there when she was maybe 8 years old. But her grandfather also like helped out in the restaurant, and like the town they were in was by a river, so her grandfather would like go out and like fish for fish in the river, and like he would bring them to the restaurant. They would serve that food. But that's something that really influenced Chef G. She uses a lot of like seasonal ingredients. She wants everything to be as fresh as possible. She ended up moving to the US with her American husband, Graham, because they wanted to be closer to his parents who live in Houston. And then Street to Kitchen, it started out as a series of pop-ups. So they would do pop-ups at local bars and farmers markets. And they had great success through that. There's a lot of buzz around them. And then in 2020, they decided to open their first brick and mortar here in the East End as well. And it's also like Nancy's Hustle. It's like in a very nondescript center. It's located right next to a gas station. Like you could drive by it and miss it and not know that it's like one of the best restaurants in Texas. But it's really great Thai food. She uses a lot of like more high-end luxury ingredients that you can't find in dishes at other Thai restaurants in the city, which is something really interesting.
What are some of the, we had some other Houston finalists, starting with the best new restaurant. Do you know who is nominated and what you can tell us about that place?
Yeah, so that's Tatemo. So it's a restaurant located in Spring Branch, also kind of in a casual strip center. Like you could drive by it and not know that it's one of the best new restaurants in the city. It's owned by Chef Emmanuel Chavez and his business partner, Megan Mall. So Chavez is originally from Mexico City, but he moved to the US in the late 90s. And he and Megan met in the Pacific Northwest, and then they decided to come to Houston to open Tatemo. So like if you would describe Tatemo, you would kind of describe it as like corn obsessed. So they focus on corn and tortillas, specifically corn of heirloom variety. And he uses that to put together his 8-course tasting menus.
Oh, wow.
And it's usually reservation only, but you can, it kind of has a long wait list, but it's very good, simple food focused on the quality of the corn that he uses.
Do you have any local favorites that you think were overlooked in the nominations? Any ones that you'd like to give a shout out to?
So Victoria Elizondo, she's the owner of Cochinita & Co. She was actually a semifinalist this year in the emerging chef category, but I am disappointed she didn't make it to the final round. She's a super talented chef. She recently released her debut cookbook. And a cool thing is she would have gotten the finalist nomination is Nancy's Hustle and Street to Kitchen are also all located in the East End, which is an interesting thing to happen. If you look at the semifinalist list, the East End got more nominations than any other neighborhood in Houston, which just goes to show that it's like growing as like a food center in Houston.
Yeah.
So
if you had one restaurant that people will not know about that you would say, run to them now, go to them this weekend, support them, what would you say would be that restaurant?
So I recently tried out Auteur, which is a new restaurant from Benji Levitt. It's a French-inspired bistro, but it's like more modernized, focused on really fresh ingredients. It's located in Rice Village.
Okay.
But I would definitely recommend trying that place out as soon as possible. It's a lovely restaurant. So
a lot to consider. I guess, we really take it for granted in Houston that we have so many wonderful restaurants around. There's just never, at least from my perspective, there's not enough time to get to them all.
Oh yeah, even as a food editor, it's very hard. Yeah, I could go try out restaurants every day of the week and still there would be several that I would miss. So
right. Daniel Renfrow is the restaurant writer for Houstonia and our Tasty Tuesday guest. Thanks for being here, Daniel. We appreciate you joining us on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks. And we're going to have all the information on Houstonia and Daniel in our social media post after the show. All right, we're going to turn things over. More Tasty Tuesday discussion, this one involving an HCC angle. Benji, take it away about back to the Foodture.
Yeah, we have Dr. Nazanin Hebel, biology professor and HCC Northwest and creator to Back to the Future, Foodture. Welcome, Dr. Nas.
Hello.
We're looking forward to hearing all about this fun event where students can create a video and some bite-sized culinary delights.
Sure.
Let's start
sure.
there.
The project started actually with one simple question in 2019 at the same building that I am, West Houston Institute, at the library desk, where I was wondering from our director, Jordan Carswell, how can we make cookie molds using our 3D printer machines? And that's how it took off. And the good thing about West Houston Institute is when you ask a question, the answer is, how can we help you? How can we support you? Mm-hmm. So it has gone through many iterations, and now it is evolved into what it is today. The way it works is it is interdisciplinary, and it can use any kind of departments that you can imagine. But for now, what we have in this event today, we have the culinary, specifically pastry department. Mm-hmm. We have biology and history. So the way it works, we put the students in teams, and each team will have one or two of these departments in there. We have 2 biology students, 2 history students, and 2 pastry students. And they actually start creating a video recording of the pastry making. And the biology student and the history student will add their aspect of that dish. For example, if they're making a cake, the pastry student records himself or herself as creating that. And while that's happening, then we will the biology student, for example, talks about the effect of sugar on ADHD or, diabetes. And the history student will chime in and talk about the history of this dish. So all of those things will, occur on this recording. And what happens is today, these recordings will be viewed when we get together for the event, and the pastries will be judged as the judges will eat the pastry, and they will judge the students as number 1, 2, or 3, and they will get certificates of interdisciplinary participation and medals and aprons that we actually created. We used machines to embellish mm-hmm. for the students. Yes.
Okay. And I know you were just talking about, let me say this first of all. This sounds like a good idea for a TV show, actually. A little bit of history of the pastry, getting to see how that pastry is made, and and some biology behind it, or chemistry, whatever the case may be. But explain what you mean when you call it a challenge-based learning model. What do you mean by that?
It basically what it is, the challenge is these students have to come together and learn from each other. They will challenge each other as to, it's not just the pastry student doing his or her thing separately. They have to come together and talk it out. The pastry student is actually the lead of the project. And what they do is they basically present different dishes, and they all, as a committee, as a group, decide which dish is the best. And then the pastry student will talk about how it's created. They get together either virtually or in person, and they basically present to each other how they're going to talk about their portion. And that basically is a challenge that we are giving them to come up with the idea of their TV show. In fact, we base this on TV shows like Alton Brown or Nadia or things like that. So we actually, by watching those, we decided this will be a great way to get our students. But at some point, we want to create the podcast, for the teams, and bring them together and do more. So yes, we are in position to create an HCC food TV in the future.
Okay. And so my curiosity is, somebody had to come up with this. How did that food element come into those areas of studies? Like who thought of this?
I actually was because I started the project, and I thought food is the topic that you can talk about food in so many different ways, and it brings people together. So to bring the disciplines and departments together, I decided food would be the focal point where. Imagine, if you will, if you meet someone new and you don't know anything about them, one of the things that you first talk about is food. Have you tried this? Have you had this food? And especially if you come from different cultures, as we are, the diversity in Houston is amazing. So if you meet someone from a different culture, the first thing you talk about is their food. So we thought food is something that everyone has something in common. So every department, can actually, sociology can say how, in the past, families got together around food. Psychology is just the feeling of, how food, basically eating certain foods feel. So you name the department and there is some aspect of food in there.
Exactly. Right. So how are the arts really integrated into all of this? Like how does that work out?
For the students, how they enter?
Yeah.
Well, we have a timeline, and what happens is instructors who wish to take part in this, they can either, the instructors actually can do one or both of these things. Either they can nominate their students to us by the fourth week of the semester, or they can, basically judge. So that everybody wants to judge the foods. So when they send the students to us, we contact them and we put them randomly in teams, and we will have them talk to each other. And from that point on, we let them lead but we have mentors. For example, we have 3 teams, and I am a mentor for one team. Dr. Kerr Harley is a mentor for another, and Sean Anderson, our wonderful librarian, is mentor for another. So we mentor them. They can come to us with questions, and they basically send their video to us the week before the presentation, and we will have that going on today. We will have the presentation and judging today.
Okay, and then for those folks who are just tuning in or just tuning in midway through the show, we were explaining earlier how this event is taking place today. So could you explain to us what's happening today over there? What can we expect? Is there awards?
Yes, what will happen is when the participants come in, we give them a bag that has their apron. That shows them they're the participants, and which was embroidered here by us, the mentors at the HI Makerspace. And they also get some goodies in the bag and their certificate. Then once they once everybody's there, including Vice Chancellor Perez will be there. Once everyone's there, we will discuss the evolution of the project, and then the first team will show their presentation video. And then after that, the second team and third team. Once that's done and the judges have judged them based on their videos, then they move on to the tables with their dishes. They will taste the dishes and they will go and convene in a room and decide who will be team 1, 2, or 3 as far as the gold medal, silver, and bronze medals. And that's what they will get at the end.
And is this something that people can just go and assist, see what's going on over there? Is this just for the students?
We have, we basically have, a certain number of people that we have invited. But if anybody wants to come and watch and see what's happening, it's in the Central Campus Culinary Building at 2:30. It's between 2:30 and 4 o'clock, and that's where it's happening.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Nazanin Hebel. She's the biology professor at the HCC Northwest, and creator to Back to the Foodture. We'll have all of your info on our post after the show. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, Benji, we've got a few announcements we're going to get through before we end today's show. Spring Student Music Recital, that's happening 7:30 p.m. Wednesday, April the 18th. It's free, and it's at HCC Southwest College's Fine Arts Center Recital Hall. It's celebrating our students' achievements in classical music performance. This recital will present a program of music for different instruments and voices. Look for the information in our post after the show. And there's also a faculty exhibition underway as well.
Yeah, it's the Wendy Robbins Drawings Faculty Exhibition. For Wendy Robbins, creating a drawing is much of a physical occurrence as it is a mental exercise. She quickly expresses what she is seeing or thinking about during those acts. Those will start today, April 18th, and it'll go through May 5th at the HCC Southwest West Loop Gallery, and this is free. So today, actually on Thursday, we'll have an artist reception from 6 to 8:30 p.m. So join us there. Registration is not required for the gallery, and everybody is welcome.
Okay, Black Mental Health Matters WebEx conference coming up. Join this virtual workshop to review the objectives of answering what is Black mental health. Such topics being reviewed: causes and influence of Black mental health, what Black mental health looks like, and others. It's 11 a.m. to 12:45 p.m. this Wednesday, April the 19th. That's tomorrow. And as mentioned, it is on WebEx. Check our post after the show for the email for registration. And the deadline for our graduation cover art contest, that's coming up as well, Benji.
Yeah, the deadline is tomorrow. Let me make an emphasis on that. Tomorrow, HCC wants to make graduation a memorable event by showcasing our students' design skills with the best commencement ceremony cover for both spring and fall 2023. The 2 winners will not only get their artwork published in the programs, but they will also have the chance to win a new iPad. You know, and these iPads, they have like those little pencils you can buy, and you can make more art. So the deadline to submit is, like I said, tomorrow, 5 p.m., Wednesday, April 19th. And check out our post after the show for the email for the registration.
Okay, there is a Student Success Summit that is coming up. The countdown is on for our annual Student Success Summit. Join HCC administrators, faculty, and staff for this opportunity to connect, collaborate, and learn about best practices for student success. It's also a chance to hear keynote speaker Dr. Fred Bonner, professor and endowed chair in educational leadership and counseling at Prairie View A&M University. It happens from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday, April 24th, and 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tuesday, April 25th. It's at the West Houston Institute. Check our post after the show where you can register and attend. And there's a dance concert coming up as well. Benji will be participating in that.
Yeah, it's time for the annual concert of dance works from faculty and guest artists, all under the direction of HCC's dance coordinator, Maggie Lasher. This will take place Thursday and Friday, April 27th through the 28th at 7:30 p.m. at the HCC Central / Heinen Theater. Check out our post after the show for registration. You'll probably catch me there doing a little dance, and
Benji will not be dancing there. We were joking around. Believe it. No, he's a good dancer, I hear, but he won't be there. Registration. Here's what you need to know about it. Register. Yeah, that's about it. Fall registration is open right now. Don't wait till the last minute. I know you're thinking, well, it's still spring. We got summer. No, classes fill up, especially if you're taking, math, science classes, English, speech classes, communications. Those fill up very quickly. If you want to take them on a campus, get the right professor, make sure you register early. And there's payment plans you can set up early. You can get your all your financial aid set up early. Now's the time to do it. Go to hccs.edu/apply. We've got 5 ways to learn. 2 of them are completely online, some hybrid options, and in person. So make sure you register today. Okay, tomorrow on the show, Benji, HCC's chief of police will be here. And he said he wanted to speak with me privately about you. So we're going to find out.
Is it about that one thing? Yeah. I don't want to incriminate myself on TV, but
Benji. Okay. Anyway, Thursday's Family Fun Day. We'll welcome the San Antonio Museum to talk about Pompeii and Rome. So there, all that's coming up. So you may want to watch and learn something on Thursday too, Benji.
Yeah, we'll be here to watch it.
Yeah, we'll see what the chief has to say about you tomorrow.
I won't be here for that show, but
yeah. All right. So Benji won't be here tomorrow, and he probably will be here next week. We'll find out. Anyway, Benji, we'll see you next time, right?
Yeah, you'll see us. Hopefully, you'll see me next time if this conversation with the chief of police tomorrow goes well. So,
you are at the office right now. You're at the station, right?
I am at the station, unless this is a green screen. But no,
you're going to go work after this, right?
Yeah. Excuse me.
You guys are going to work after this, right?
Oh yeah. We're setting up for the board meeting, so we got stuff to do.
Oh, that's right. Board meetings. Are y'all visiting Home Slice today for pizza?
Maybe, or we'll probably visit one of these restaurants that were named for the James Beard award. So sounds interesting.
All right, Benji, have a great day. Thank you all for joining us this morning. We're back tomorrow live, 10 a.m. for Up to the Minute.